What's up, everybody? How's it going? And welcome to the Binet channel. So yes, yesterday we did have the announcement for the 25th anniversary of the Persona series, but besides that, I really just want to take some time here to celebrate the 15th anniversary of Persona 3. Now, if you guys didn't know, Persona 3 is my favorite game, and well, you look at the state of like the different people that like different games, and I seen a lot of people have like this negative I guess perspective of Persona 3 or anything like that. And you know what, overall I just want to say, you're free to dislike the game or like the game. I particularly never take it personal when somebody doesn't like a game that I like, because I can recognize that every game, whether it's like the best game ever or the worst game ever, there's always gonna be somebody that's gonna like them, and some games are gonna be disliked, and like, that's kind of how it happens with everything. But today just wanted to take an opportunity to kind of talk about why Persona 3 is my favorite game, just from a personal standpoint, not from like a technical standpoint as far as like, oh, this is the best game because it has the best gameplay or the best story, anything like that. No, it's really just the way that I feel about the game. First of all, just kind of just to start with this video, I made this series, Shin Megami Tensei series, because of this game. Now, I knew about Nocturne because of Devil May Cry, but that's a different story for a different day. But growing up, I always liked anime. I always been an anime fan, and I always wanted to find a good anime game. Now, back in the day, in the era of the PlayStation 2, so a lot of you guys that are maybe a little bit young for this era, there used to be a big majority of games that were not good. Like, there's a lot of anime games that I just complete trash. Like, to be honest, there's a lot of hidden gems here and there. There are some games that are really good for the era, like the Tales of series or the Xenosaga or the Final Fantasy series, but there was really nothing that really caught me in like a different sense until I started playing Persona 3. I met my best friend Gene, who actually, if you guys know him, he's been on the channel a few times. He's one of my best friends ever. He was the one that introduced me to the game. And to me, this game, I started playing this game in a really rough time in my life. My grandfather was diagnosed with cancer, and he was dying basically. And while I was playing the game, what I found really relatable about the game is just how they deal with the theme of death. And I know a lot of people are like, look at the game and like, oh man, it's a really morbid thought, but really in reality, when I was dealing with all this stuff, I found some sense of kind of like, I really related to this game, because not only the characters, but a lot of the different parts of the story, like every character in the game, or at least in some kind of semblance, deals with death in like different ways, and you really interact with different characters and different perspectives on how they feel about the subject. Everybody has lost somebody they loved, their parent, their significant other, somebody that you care about. Main protagonist, for example, both of his parents are dead at the beginning of the game. You find out that his parents died years ago and everything like that. But every single character in the game has kind of dealing with the concept of death and everything, and the entire game is just based around the idea that knowing that there's a mortality, like you as a mortal will die at some point in your life. And it's a heavy subject to kind of go through as a teenager in any kind of semblance, and not really just teenagers, but anybody kind of dealing with death and what it means to live is a really rough subject. So I think that, although I know a lot of people find a lot of faults in the Persona games, particularly Persona 3, the way that they approach things, and I know some people look at Persona 3 and like, oh, it's a really edgy game and everything. To me, it's just a really personal story. It's a really personal game to me, because I find that the way that they approach the subject of death and dying and life, it's interesting, and it does bring something that meant a lot to me when I was dealing with all this stuff and everything. Seeing my grandfather just kind of pass away after months of kind of undergoing chemotherapy and everything, it was really rough. My grandfather was basically my dad. He's a person that raised me, that I grew up with him. He was my favorite person, and just kind of really coming into terms with that, and just everything was just happening so fast. It was a really rough time in my life for me. And this game, I know some people just kind of find games or find things that they can relate to. This game just really, I really related in a lot of ways, and it really helped me kind of deal with everything, understand the concept of what it means to die, and not just to die, but really to understand and appreciate life. And yeah, this is why Persona 3 is my favorite game on the Persona franchise. It has nothing to do with the story again. It has nothing to do with the gameplay or anything like that. It's really just the way that they handled the message that we're trying to convey, the way that they made relatable characters in a story that, sure, you can say things like maybe the gameplay wasn't up to par to the new Persona games, so maybe the story beats what weren't super cohesive, or there's definitely a lot of things that people can pick apart in the game, but in again, to me, just it was a game that back then really just changed my life in a lot of senses. Nowadays, I look at the game and I play the game a few times, and I can look at it, I can like laugh sometimes and everything, but from time to time I look at the game and I say, yeah, this game really impacted my life in more ways than I can really say, really. Anyway, that is pretty much for today's video. Just wanted to celebrate 15th anniversary of Persona 3. A basic game. I think it's definitely a game that changed not only my life, but also the life of the Persona series. That did a lot of changes that I don't think a lot of people expected from the rest of the series. It's definitely unique in a lot of the way that they handle some aspects, but it's definitely a worthy installment in the Persona series. So let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite game in the Persona series, and also, do you have any good memories with any Persona games, or do you have any stories, like I said, with my story and how Persona 3 helped me when I was going through a hard time in my life. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this, guys. If you're new, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.